Good morning. We will be starting with a new chapter today. But before that, in the first chapter, chemical equations and reactions, what did we study? We studied that the so many different elements are combining with each other and giving us a new byproduct, right? In the next chapter, acid, bases and salt, there also we saw a acid reacting with a different element or a base reacting with a different element and forming a new compound, correct? So let us keep that aside. In our day-to-day life, what do we see? Now we see buildings. Now what is buildings? What are buildings made up of? Of course, bricks, mud, sand. But how a building gets its strength? It will get its strength by its foundation. So we build a foundation by a element, that is nothing but we use iron as an element there to build a foundation. Now apart from that, we use these elements or we use these things in our day-to-day life. Now for example, how do we cook? We cook using utensils. What are vessels made up of? Vessels are made up of by the combination of 2 or 3 elements, what I can say, correct? That is how we use it. Now apart from that, there are even certain other elements also around us which are very much helpful and needful to us. That is the gases what we intake. Yes, we take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. What do plants do? Plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So these gases are very essential for us. We also understood in our previous class, that is last year, we studied about cycles, biogeochemical cycles. How are the level of oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen maintained in our atmosphere, right? So these elements I can say, play a very important role in our day-to-day life, knowingly or unknowingly, right? So these elements, we basically classify them in form of metals and non-metals. So today we will start a chapter, third chapter in your chemistry, metals and non-metals. Now that means we see things around us which are again made up of metals and non-metals. That is basically when you come across all the solids, for example iron, copper, gold, silver, platinum, all these are termed into metals. Then what are non-metals? Most of the gases, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, argon, everything, those are termed into gases. That is, as what I have told, we make use of both metals and non-metals for our living by one or the other way. So, for example now, the only non-metal which we use it for consumption, what we can say is, nitrogen is used as a preservative. Because to avoid rancidity, right, that is used we flush the bag of chips with nitrogen. So that is something which is non-reactive, we say. We make use of these metals and non-metals into our day-to-day life on the regular basis. We also studied about the process called corrosion. That is nothing but when iron is exposed to air, atmosphere. That means iron is a metal wherein it is exposed to air, that is nothing but a non-metal that consists of oxygen, and there gives a reaction which is nothing but a rust, correct? So we use these metals and non-metals in our day-to-day life, correct? So today we will first understand the properties of these metals and non-metals, and then we will start the chemical properties of these metals and non-metals. So when we talk about physical properties of metals and non-metals, we will bifurcate them in terms of their luster, hardness, state, malleability, ductility, sonorous, density, melting and boiling point. How do they conduct heat and electricity? What about their oxides? What about their electrons and about their atomicity? So we define them in terms of these physical terms. So let us understand each of them one by one. Now luster. Now what do you mean by luster? Which is nothing but a shine, correct? All metals have a shiny surface. Do you agree with this? Correct? If you polish the metal surface, it gives us a lustrous shine. Iron, in case of, see, that is why usually wardrobes, all these things sometimes are made up of iron. They have a lustrous shine if you polish them. Gold is a metal, right? So it gives you a lustrous shine than of any other metal. Silver, platinum. So they have a smooth finishing with a lustrous shine, what we can say. All metals have lustrous shine. Now when we always talk about all metals, there will be one or two exception. Exception is lead. Lead is a metal, but the appearance of lead is very dull. It does not have any luster or a shine. When we talk about non-metals, all non-metals have a dull appearance. Exception, iodine and diamond have a shine as they shine like a metal. We all know how diamond shines. Iodine is also one in them which has a shiny nature, but it comes under non-metals. Hardness. When we talk about hardness, they are generally hard, right? So when we talk about they are generally hard, exception is again sodium, potassium and lithium. That means if I give you a piece of iron, can you cut that with a knife or can you just bend it with your hand? A thick rod of iron. Difficult, right? But sodium, potassium and lithium can be just cut with a knife like a cake how you cut it. So they are the soft metals. When we talk about non-metals, non-metals are generally soft. Exception is diamond. So we have to always remember the properties as well as the exception. Next, we will go to state. In which state do this metals and non-metals appear? Metals exist as solids. Almost all the metals, not almost all metals exist in the solid form. Exception is mercury. Mercury is the only liquid metal at the room temperature. So that is a liquid metal. When we talk about non-metal, all non-metal are in terms of solid, liquids and gases. That means non-metal will exist in form of solid, non-metal will exist in form of liquid, non-metal will also exist in form of gases. But when we talk about metals, all the metals are solid. Only one is an exception, that is mercury. Also gallium. Gallium also appears in liquid form. Now, when we talk about solid non-metals, example is carbon and phosphorus. Of course, diamond also appears in solid form, but diamond is nothing but an allotrope of carbon. What do you mean by allotrope? You'll study that further. Liquids. Bromine is a liquid non-metal. Gaseous. Almost there are many non-metals which appear in gaseous form. There are very few solid and very few liquid. Otherwise, all the non-metals are gases only. So when we tell non-metals, the first example comes to you is gases. When we tell all metals, the first example comes to your mind is solids only. That is, you can say iron, copper, magnesium, etc. Next, malleability. Malleability and ductility are the terms you have already studied in your lower classes. So what is malleability? The property of a metal which can be beaten into thin sheets are called as malleability. That means you can beat the metal and make them into thin sheets. Now we have sheets of iron. Okay, we have aluminium foil which we wrap our food to keep it warm sometimes. Now what is it? Aluminium is a metal. That means we have an aluminium foil. That means that aluminium is beaten into thin sheet where we get as a foil. We also get a silver foil, right? Where we just spread it across the sweets and all sometimes. So yes, that is nothing but again a sheet only. So property of a metal to be drawn into thin sheets are called as malleability. All metals undergo malleability. So exception is zinc. Why zinc cannot undergo malleability? Because zinc is the only brittle metal. What do you mean by brittle? Brittle is something which can break very easily. Now, if I take an iron and try beating that, I can beat that into a thin sheet, correct? But if I take zinc and start beating it to make a thin sheet, instead of sheet, the zinc will break immediately because it is a very brittle metal. So, there is no malleability seen in terms of non-metals. Because all are gases, There is no solid. Even if it is solid, you can't be considering as carbon, phosphorus or diamond because they break. Then next is ductility. The property of a metal which can be drawn into thin wires are called as ductile or ductility. Now example could be, you all have seen copper wires which we have it in our house for electricity purpose. Now what about gold and silver? We wear a chain or anything made of gold and silver, right? So the beads are actually pounded in terms of those thin wires only. That means gold, silver, copper, we all have wires. We can draw small thin wires. Again, zinc is the only exception where we cannot use it for ductility because zinc is a brittle metal. When you start beating it or start drawing that into thin wires, that will break immediately. So, ductility is wire and malleability are sheets. Gold and silver are the only metals which are both malleable and ductile. That means, why not copper, why not aluminium? Yes, we can use it, but see, for example, if I tell you copper wire can be cut very easily. We do not make ornaments made out of copper wire. Just imagine gold can be beaten into thin wire and thin sheet in such a negligible manner that it can withstand for a very long time, right? That is the only reason gold and silver are the only metals which are both malleable and ductile. So malleability and ductility property is not seen in non-metals. Next we go to sonorous. Metals produce sonorous sound. Now what is the sonorous sound? When you drop a wooden piece or when you drop a coin, what gives the sound? Of course, a coin will give you the sound, and that sound is called as a sonorous sound. We usually see bells made out of metal, right? School bell. Now generally nobody uses bell in the school. We all have an electric bell, but in olden days, if you have seen, we had to ring the bell. When you go to a temple, you just ring the bell, correct? So which material it is made out of? It is made out of a metal. So why metal? Why not wooden one? That's only because metals produce a sonorous sound. So there is no sonorous property in non-metals. So we'll go with the next properties now. Let us see the next property. We'll study about density. Metals have high density and non-metals have low density. Now when we talk about high density, that means it can float or it can sink. Of course, it will sink. Take a piece of iron and just put it on the water. What happens? It will sink because of high density. Exception is sodium and potassium, since it is the lightest metal, right? Low density, all non-metals have low density except diamond. Boiling and melting point. All metals have high boiling and high melting point except mercury. Mercury has a very low boiling point as well as very low melting point. Non-metals, when we consider, they have both low boiling point as well as low melting point. Exception is silicon, carbon and boron. Conductor of heat and electricity. Metals are generally, not generally, always, they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Exception is lead and mercury. Wherein when we talk about non-metals are poor conductor of heat and electricity. Exception is a graphite. Now why graphite? Graphite are used as electrodes in the process of electrolysis. Now we studied electrolysis in the first chapter, wherein we understood electrolysis of water, correct? And in the second chapter, acid, bases and salt, we studied electrolysis of sodium chloride, right? Which will further give what happens in the electrolysis process of sodium chloride, which is used as a brine. It will give us sodium hydroxide, chlorine and hydrogen. So graphite is used as an electrode since it is a good conductor of heat and electricity. Next, when we talk about oxides. All metallic oxides are acidic in nature. We studied this in the previous chapter. All metallic oxides are acidic in nature. because we understood that it was giving a neutralization reaction. Similarly, non-metallic oxides are basic in nature. About oxides nature, we studied in our previous acid, base and salt chapter. Next is about electrons. So, we will only understand the property here. Exact meaning and understanding the depth of this, we will understand as we proceed with the chapter further. About electrons, when we talk about, all metals are electropositive. That means all metals can donate electrons. What do you mean by electropositive? I have more number of I can donate electrons, correct? So metals are all donors. Now why they are donors, why they are electropositive, you will understand as we proceed with the chapter further. We will be discussing with this point in detail in this chapter again. All nonmetals are electronegative. That means they are acceptors. They can accept the electrons. Now since they are accepting electrons, that is why they are electronegative. Since these are giving out electrons, so they are electropositive. We'll understand this about electrons property in detail when we proceed with this chapter further. The last one, atomicity. You studied what is atomicity in standard 9. Now, if I say all metals are monoatomic and all non-metals are polyatomic, that's only because how do non-metals exist? It exists oxygen in terms of 2 molecules, correct? We write O2. If it is 3 molecules of oxygen, we call that as ozone. Now, what is this oxygen? Yes, this is the symbol of oxygen, but it always exists as a 2 molecules. If another molecule of oxygen is added to it, it forms a ozone. We understood about this ozone layer formation in the chapter where we studied about how ozone layer is formed, correct? So, it always exists in the polyatomic form. Now, if you see phosphorus, it exists in P4, 4 molecule form. Wherein when we check about the metals, it always exists in the single atoms. Now sodium, if I have to write, it is Na. Magnesium, if I have to write, Mg. Calcium, if I have to write, Ca. It always exists in the single atom form, correct? So they are always monoatomic. And those are either diatomic or more than that. That is why we call them as a polyatomic. So these are the physical properties of metals and non-metals. So in our next class, we will be again discussing about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. And in the consecutive classes, we will be studying that. So in today's class about the physical properties of metals and non-metals, if you have any doubts in that, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.